I am not surprised Porzingis is hurt. I'm not. He's been fighting injury ever since he left the New York Knicks. When he went to Dallas, he was fighting injury. He wasn't getting along with his buddy Luka Doncic, and that's why they had to move on with these two guys. They couldn't get over the hump. It wasn't really Porzingis that really got him into the Western Conference Finals because he wasn't really even there. He was with the Wizards. It was Jalen Brunson and Luka Doncic that took that team all the way to the Western Conference Finals. Jalen Brunson now is a New York Knick. Luka Doncic has Kyrie Irving, who, by the way, is playing very well in the playoffs. Kyrie Irving is a very good playoff player. I see this to be a problem for the Celtics moving forward because in the next round, you're going to be either playing the Cavaliers or playing Orlando, two teams that are very big and very athletic and two very good rebounding teams. And Porzingis, who averaged about 7 to 8 rebounds a game throughout the season and was a very big, important part of their rebounding, offensive rebounds especially, this is a huge problem because now you're going to expect Jason Tatum to change his game in this series. You're going to see more of Jaylen Brown changing his game to go after that ball off the backboard. So this is a huge problem for the Celtics, and it's a bad matchup for the Celtics against the Cavaliers with the way Allen is playing in this, in the Orlando series. If the Cavaliers wind up winning that series, and how about Bachero, what he is doing in that series against the Cavaliers? So they're two very dangerous teams. Losing Porzingis absolutely could cost them this series in the second round. And it looks like Mazzulla is not even worried about the Cavaliers in Orlando, which I think is a big mistake. This was a very big move for the Celtics to decide to sit him out in the second round. Now, I understand the doctors are telling him that he needs to sit out for the second round to avoid any Achilles damage. But I disagree. I think that you sit him out for 4 or 5 games. If you believe he could play in the Eastern Conference Finals, he could play in the semifinals. He could play against the Cavaliers. He could play against Orlando. Just you're going to have to move around his minutes. Play him for 10, 12 minutes. Don't play him for 20, 25 minutes in those games. And that's what they've been doing. I mean, he's been averaging about 25 to 27 minutes in the series against the Miami. And they needed Porzingis in that series against Miami because of Bam Adebayo. You're looking at two teams like the Cavaliers and Orlando that are so very young and so big. Orlando is a big team. They're one of the biggest teams in the playoffs right now. And the Cavaliers, they have Mobley and they have Allen, the Twin Towers, who the Knicks out-rebounded last year in the first round of the playoffs. I don't think that happens in the second round if they make it and they knock off Orlando. I think they're going to cause big problems on the board. On the boards, they're a very good defensive rebounding team. They're not as good offensively on the offensive rebounds than they are defensively, but I mean, they're behemoths. And by the way, they still have Cavaliers have Donovan Mitchell, and Bachero is over there with Orlando. So losing a guy like Kristaps Porzingis, you're losing 20 points, you're losing 7 rebounds, and you're losing a guy that can help out in so many different ways, passing the ball, demanding double teams and all that other stuff that can open up the field for Jason Tatum or guys like Jaylen Brown. So to me, I think this is a huge loss. I think this is a bad move. I'm not saying I'm the coach and I don't know what's going on with Porzingis, but if you think he's going to play in the finals, you don't play him in the first 3 or 4 games of the series, and then you put him out there and you see what he can do. And if he can't do anything, then you sit him out for the rest of the series. But I think this is a big, huge loss. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm not saying I'm going to say the Cavaliers or Orlando will knock off the Celtics, but they have even a better chance now to knock off a team like the Celtics now that they lost Porzingis.